In the first part of our Dreams, Vision, and Purpose workshop, you heard from one of the Marketplace Alliance Group's team leader, Deborah Barrett, who trained on how to discover your purpose. Our second presenter is also one of Marketplace Alliance Group's team leaders, Mary Elise Murray. Mary Elise is a transformational life coach for MAM Transformational Coaching and the Chief Empowerment Officer for the Princess Academy, which is a program for teen girls ages 11 through 19 that builds self-esteem, etiquette, financial literacy, and provides tutoring and mentoring. In this workshop, Mary Elise is going to train you in the power of vision, developing your life vision. Ladies and gentlemen, Mary Elise.
The power of vision, developing your life's vision. And the first scripture I would like to just give you so that we can kind of see why vision and the direction that we need to take with vision is Habakkuk 2, verses 2 through 3. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. When we write our vision, the plan and the purpose for our life, we need to make sure that it, number one, is written so that we can see it, and that it is plain and that it is understandable, so that as we move around and journey through our life, through our vision, that we can read it and see it on a consistent basis, in knowing that it is a journey and that it is set for an appointed time. That even though we come up with our vision and the plan for our life, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen today or tomorrow, that it takes time and that we can get there. The next scripture, Proverbs 29 and 18. Where there is no vision, the people perish. In other words, if we don't have a revelation for our life, then we perish or we cast off restraints. In other words, there's no discipline, there's no direction, and just anything and everything goes. We have to get an understanding of really what is it that God wants for my life? What direction do I need to take? I need to have a concise vision, and the vision being parts and pieces of my plan, of my purpose, of my destiny. Because once we get and gather together our destiny and our purpose, then we can pull it together for our vision. More of why do I need specifically a life vision? Creating a vision provides a map to success and victory. When you have a clear cut and concise direction, you don't end up just anywhere. Any path will do when you don't know where you're going. If I don't know where I'm going, then I can get on the road and just drive. Yes, that path will take me somewhere, but it won't take me to my greatest destiny. It won't take me to exactly what I may need. My desire in my heart may be that I make 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 a year. But if I don't get on the proper path, I'll never get there. If I don't get on the path that God has designed for me, I will definitely not get there either. If the Lord is telling me to be on Mount Vernon Road at a particular time, but I'm deciding, well, I'm going to be over on Ashford Dunwoody, I would never meet the full potential of my destiny, because my blessing is on Mount Vernon, but I'm on Ashford Dunwoody. I will never be able to fully bring those two together unless the Lord tells me where to make another turn on my journey. But I have to be on that proper path, going exactly the way that the Lord is telling me to go. And then I would need to live my life on purpose. Vision is the product of purpose. Once I have realized my full purpose, why am I on this earth? Why has God designed me the way that he has designed me? Because each one of us was designed a particular way for a particular reason. Why is that? Once I have fully figured that out, I can put together my vision and I can step back and look at the whole picture. But until I find my purpose and then my vision, I can't put it together and know my full life's path. If you don't develop a vision for your life, you allow others and circumstances to direct your life's course. And I'm reminded of my own life in where I have been challenged some years ago in just kind of not having a vision and just kind of doing what came along. I got stuck in doing taxes for over 20 years. It was not as lucrative as it could have been or as it is for others, simply because that was not supposed to be my life's path. One day somebody just said, well, you need to make some money. Why don't you start doing taxes? I really didn't want to, simply because I really didn't like numbers. But they said, well, you can make some quick money during this time. So I got together and I got the software and I started doing some taxes and made a few dollars. And I said, that's not as bad as I thought it would be. Then as time went on, I began to work for H&R Block, who I call the dark side. Shh, don't tell anybody. But then there is also Jackson Hewitt, who I stayed with for over 10, 15 years, and I managed the tax office and I taught taxes and I did it every year. I got stuck, but I was not happy because it was not the proper path for my life. And even as that journey went on, I began to teach and to minister to people that came and sat in front of me, and it just kept going over in my mind. You're supposed to be in ministry. You're supposed to be teaching. You're supposed to be coaching, not sitting behind the desk doing taxes. So I had to finally come to myself, if you will, and tell myself, this is not what you're doing. You need to make a change. You've got to transition. And as Jim Rohn would say, it's you. If you don't design your own life path, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they may have planned for you? Not much. And that's where I was, going along somebody else's plan, including some things even that my mother had told me to do years ago in high school and college, and her trying to direct me where to go in college. And it was not really my life's plan, my life's purpose, but I did it simply because somebody else had said do it. And I truly believe that had I even then figured out what my plan and what my purpose and setting up a vision, I would have been farther along in my life. A clear vision will give you momentum. It helps you propel purpose into achievement and success. Once I really figured out, okay, this is really what I need to do, this is what God is saying, it began to pull towards me and me walk towards it. A clear vision gives you more discipline and deliberate moves towards your goals. You just set yourself with a focus. You put blinders on and you say, but this is what I need to do. All these other things are on the wayside, and I should not pick up this or pick up that unless it is taking me along the proper path to my vision, to my goal. Having a vision helps you to say no to people and things. If it doesn't fit into your vision, let it go by the wayside. And understand, even with vision, you have to set goals. A goal without a deadline is just a dream. Living your dream and purpose is a choice, and it requires work. When you get your vision, you have to set it up with various goals along the way, and then endeavor to reach those goals. And you have the deadline. So I'm moving towards deadlines, and I'm meeting milestones along the way in my vision, in my journey in life. And I can check it off and say that I've met that. So I'm just a little bit closer to the next level of my dream, of my vision. Steve Jobs says, if you are working on something exciting that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you. It's like a gravitational pull. So the two of you come together. How to create your life vision. What we're going to do is focus on 8 different areas to develop your vision. We're going to focus on the family, your personal identity, friends, personal growth, spiritual growth, career, your finances, and your health. Because all of these work together to make a successful and a happy life. What I want you to do is dare to dream. Dream big. Because your vision has nothing at all to do with where you are right now, but everything to do with where you're going. Understand that your vision has nothing to do with your current abilities as well. What I'm able to do right now doesn't mean that it's going to be my end result on tomorrow, because I'm going to develop my abilities. I'm going to develop things along the way to get me where I need to go. Most classical pianists do not sit down one day and are perfect at it. There's practice that has to go on. There's training that has to go on. A basketball player is coached along the way. They're trained and they're taken so that they are able to dunk very well. What you do today will affect change for tomorrow and the years to come. So purpose in your heart and your mind today to make the necessary shifts so that tomorrow and the years to come will be better than your yesterday. Don't expect to have a clear and fully defined vision overnight. Just because tomorrow you sit down and you write out your vision, you get everything down and you figure, okay, this is perfect, I'm going to move on. It takes time, because you're going to have to define and redefine each of those areas until God says perfect. And even though this was my last point on this page, it says first and foremost, spend quiet time with the Father to hear his plans for your life. It really is the first thing to do, because you're going to have to go into a quiet space and determine exactly what the Father is saying, because it is his plans and purposes for your life that matter the most. And as George Bernard Shaw would say, life isn't about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself, because God has already created who you're to be, and now you're just going to walk it out. These are some questions that you need to ask yourself. When you steal away quietly in the presence of the Lord, you're going to find the authentic you, exactly who you really are, and sit without distractions, sit without the TV, and really sit without music. It's disciplining yourself to practice his presence and not just the circumstances around you. And then begin to ask, what are my dreams? What are my reoccurring dreams, the ones that come to me constantly, very consistent? What is it that I'm dreaming about for me and for my life? What are my deepest desires? What are some of my likes and dislikes? Do I really like that, or am I liking it because somebody else likes it? What are your likes and dislikes? What purpose or purposes do I believe God has called me to fulfill? What do I need to fulfill in this life that would not only please God, but would please me? What are the habits that I need to form in order to be successful personally, professionally, and spiritually? We all have habits that go on from day to day. Recognize what those habits are, and are they successful? Are they causing you to be all that you can be personally, professionally, and spiritually? And then what are the patterns that hold me back? What patterns do I need to break? Because sometimes we get into a rut and we're just going and going and going, but we're going nowhere. Is that a rut or a pattern that I need to shift and change? Do I need to break it? What is it? What do I need to put in its place? Okay, first we're going to look at our family, companionship, and marriage. Now, this area includes extended family, immediate family, and our marriage if we're married or if you desire to be married. If you're single and you have no desire to be married, that's cool too. Just go ahead and set up your plan for just being a single woman or man in life. And what does that look like to you? What does it look like to be married and married with children, married without children, or as a single parent? What is your favorite family tradition? What are the values in your family? What type of person do you plan to spend or want to spend the rest of your life with? I don't necessarily mean that he's just tall, dark, and handsome, hair fried, dyed, and laid to the side, but also what's going on the inside of him or her if you're a guy. What's on the inside? What is their character? What do you two plan to do for the rest of your life together? And if you're married, maybe he or she does not look like what you really want them to look like. But write that down anyway. What is it that you want them to look like for the rest of your lives together? And I'm not saying that after you get this part figured out that you're going to badger and nag them to get them to what you want them to be. You're going to pray it through and you're going to be all of what God has called you to be. And then you'll pull them in to being all that they are meant to be. And what is your love language? Are you affectionate? Not affectionate? Do you like to be touched? Do you like keeping everybody apart from you? Figure out what your love language is. How do you speak to your mate in love? And then those parts and pieces are to come together. What does your ideal marriage look like? Who's going to bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan? Get all that figured out. Get it down on paper so that as you begin to walk towards your vision, everything will fall into place. Your friends and your networks, what does that look like to you? What does your support system look like? We all should have a support system, somebody that's there to speak into your life or help you when you're down or when you're challenged or even when you get off focus. Who is that support team that's there to say, girl, you better pull it back together or don't fall off the bandwagon. Come on, get it back together and let's move forward in what you're trying to do. Now, what close relationships do you need to develop? Who is it that you can trust? Find out, what does that look like to you? What close relationships? There's always somebody, especially if you're married, that close person, first close person, I should say, should be your spouse. And then there should be someone else that you can trust to also speak into your life. Now you're going to describe your ideal friendships. What does it look like? What does it really mean to be a friend? Because there's a difference between a friend and an associate. Define friendship and recognize what it means. What does associate mean? Because 90% of who's around us is more of an associate as opposed to a friend. But define those and figure out what it looks like and what is your ideal friend and friendship and your alliances, your partnerships. And in your business, in your workplace, what does a partnership look like? What does professional network look like to you? And in your career, your next area, what would you do if you knew you would not fail? You simply can't fail at this. So what is it that you would do? Because remember that we're not looking at where you are and what you're doing right now, your abilities right now. You are looking at what God has designed for your life. And there is that potential for anything already on the inside of you. God has downloaded it. So know that you're not going to fail. What is it that you would like to do? When I asked this question to someone some time ago, they told me that they really wanted to be a doctor or somewhere in the medical field. But right now they're driving a school bus. And I'm like, well, how did you get from helping somebody's health to driving a school bus? They just kind of fell into that because they needed finances. Well, my next question would be, what are you doing to take yourself along the road to being the doctor, to being the nurse practitioner? Find out where in that medical field you need to be, and know that you can get there because you won't fail, because greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. What does your ideal job look like? Maybe to you, an ideal job is a 9-to-5 career. What does it look like to you? It doesn't matter whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a 9-to-5er, wherever you find yourself in the marketplace, make it perfect for you. Is that what God has called you to do? Make it perfect, make it ideal. But at this point, what does it look like to you? What would your ideal work day look like? From sun up to sundown. What do you plan to do throughout that day to make it ideal? What skills, degrees, or training do you need? We all need a little something along the way, and understand development is an ongoing thing. Education should be every day. What are your talents? What can you do? What comes natural for you? Setting aside money. Let's forget about money. What do you want in your career? Because number one, we always want to say, well, I want to make $100,000 a year, or whatever 6-figure, or whatever 7-figure, because I'm looking at the 7 figures now. What do you want in your career? Pull it all together. What are your interests? What are your values? What are your goals? And in my career, I want to be able to help somebody. In my career, I like doing numbers. I'm just saying, I'm not saying me, but you might be saying, I like doing numbers. So accounting might be for you. That might be your career. And then later on, after you've pulled everything else together, go back and set your dollar amount. When I started the job that I'm on now, working in managing a nonprofit, I set my dollar amount, and I'm getting ready to change it because it's time for an increase. Your personal growth. We should be growing every single day. Do not become stagnant in your life. So you need to set disciplines and goals for yourself in your personal growth. What are your educational goals? Do you plan to go back to school? You don't have to go back for another degree. You might already have a doctorate, but there are still some educational goals that can be there. There's still some learning that can take place. Always remain teachable. How do you plan to enrich your life? Enrich your life in going to museums. Enrich your life in doing things that you've never done before, and meeting somebody that you've never met before, and then being able to glean from their life, glean from their career, glean from whatever they're doing in life. And sometimes we can even glean from a child, because there are different levels that come with coaching and mentoring as well. So please do consider coaches and mentors in your life, because you have the upward coach and you have the peer, one that is on the same level, but they still have something to tell you, and the downward mentor as well, someone that may be less than you, so to speak, but able to pull you to another level, and you pulling them up to another level. And then what types of seminars would you find beneficial? What is along your vision and your plan and your purpose for your life? What seminars can you go to that will enrich you and be beneficial? And your personal ID. Basically, who in the world am I? Ask yourself these questions. What really matters to me in life? What would I like to have more in life? I know all of us, I see the hands and I see the dollar signs. Everybody says, I would like to have more money in life. But besides money, what would you like to have more of? Maybe more love, more freedom. What would you like to have more of in life? What are your strengths and weaknesses? What do you want to own? Describe your dream house. Describe your dream car. Maybe it's that Maserati and the 7-bedroom house on the hill. I was just looking at HGTV, one of my favorite channels, the other day, and the guy bought this beautiful ranch house. He wanted acreage, so he had a lot of acreage, but then he looked up and he saw more land. He said, I wanted that. And he looked down and he saw more land. And it was a whole nother, I think it was 50 acres of farmland that had bison on it. So he was on the middle hill. He had another hill above him and the one below him. Describe your dream house. What is it that you want to own? Describe your dream car. What do you want to accomplish in life? What are your values? Your values, not his, hers, or their values, but what are your values and what makes you happy? Your spiritual growth. This we cannot leave off at all. First and foremost, we need to grow spiritually. How is your prayer life? Is that an everyday thing or just when you get in trouble? Let's think about that. That is something that makes us go, And then what are your study habits? Study to show thyself approved. Are you studying just on Sunday morning? Because the pastor has studied, so now you're getting all of his notes. But what are your study habits on a daily basis? What is your knowledge of the kingdom? Not of church, but of kingdom. God's kingdom. What would bring you closer to the Father? Your health. Now, this is vitally important. It's even more important than almost all the others because without your health, you really have nothing. Do you have an exercise program? Do you have a nutritional plan? And I'm about to hide myself right here. Basically because I'm having to redefine what my exercise program looks like and properly stay on my nutritional plan. And I want to encourage you to get to one, even if you have to go to somebody that knows nutrition and they can put you on the proper plan. We all think we know what we need to eat, but everybody's body type is a little bit different. Find out what proper nutritional plan you need to be on for your body type. What steps do I need to take to bring my life into balance? What is it that I need to do to bring myself into homeostasis? In other words, harmony and balance. Do you get the adequate rest? What does your physical look like? What do I look like on the outside, in other words? Am I physically in shape? Everybody's body type is different. You might have a pear shape, you might have the apple, but is it properly in shape? Is everything working properly? What does your mental health look like? Rest will change your mental health. Stress will change your mental health as well as your emotional health. Bring it into homeostasis. As you're sitting with the Father to figure all this out, He will tell you exactly what you need to cut out, what you need to do. And please do understand that when you're getting stressed, it means that there's something that you need to cast off and cast over on the Father and be, how do I say it? Trusting in Him. Confidently relying upon Him and knowing that He has pulled together all the plans and the purposes for your life, and all you're having to do is work it and walk it out. And understanding that if something goes awry in your life, it wasn't in your plan, it wasn't in your vision, it wasn't in your purpose, that you've cast that over on the Father, and knowing that He already knew that that would happen in your life. So He's already put something in your plan and vision for you to walk it out to the next level, and know that everything, every little thing, as we cast it over on the Father, it will be okay. Understand what all of your health, spirit, soul, and body looks like. The wonderful wealth and finances. What do you want your finances to look like? Because I'm sure most of us sitting in here tonight, if we were to open up our bank account, it would be like, that's not me. That's not what I want it to look like, because we might not have any zeros. It might only be one digit in there, such as $5, $9, instead of that 9 with a bunch of zeros behind it. That's what we're looking for. But so what does it look like? Does it look like every time you look in your bank account, it's always above 5,000? It's not impossible. Every time you look in your bank account, it's above 10,000. It's not impossible. Just what does it look like to you? What are your immediate financial needs and goals? If you don't have any, it's time to set it. Describe your retirement plan. Understand that retirement does come, where you're going to lay down the punch clock and you're going to do something else. It could be that you come off your 9 to 5 and open your own business. It could mean that you just retire and just travel the world. Whatever your retirement looks like, write it down. Describe your savings and investment plan. You might say, I don't have a dime to put anywhere. Yes, you do. You've got that dime. You've got the dollar. You've got the $5. We've started on a savings plan where we're crossing off every week a dollar amount to put aside, and we're opening up a bank account, a savings bank account that we can't easily touch. We're going to put $7, we're going to put $5, we're going to put $50. Every single week we're going to be disciplined to put something somewhere, and then investing somewhere, a vehicle that will grow and profit and cause money to come, and especially passive income. Amen. That's what we're looking for. Okay, we've come almost to the end. We've pulled all of these parts and pieces together. Now we're going to sit before the Father and say, now I've got all this. Now, how do I fully design? You're going to fully design it. You're going to put it in a booklet. I have mine in a journal, page by page, and I love color. Color excites me. And so every page has a different color on it, and multiple colors of my family, of my own personal ID, of my finances. And of course, my finance page is all green because money is green. Wealth is, lush and grows. So each page, if you choose to use a journal, and you're going to write it out and put some pictures so that when you look at it, and even when you're in a hurry and you're going by and you're flipping it open, as you run the vision, you can look in and see, and it could bring back to memory exactly where it is that you're going. Some have a vision board. You might want to put together a vision board where you have mostly pictures and only a few words here and there, where you can see your vision. You can see where you're going. But remember always to keep your vision where you can see it and be reminded of you. Be reminded of it. This will require a consistent commitment and a daily effort. So every day I'm doing something to move me forward to my destiny. And then ask yourself, what is the legacy that you will leave behind? What is it that you want people to know about you and remember about you? What is your legacy? Thomas Edison said, vision without execution is hallucinating. Stop dreaming and not doing. It's time to do. It's time to walk it out. It's time to live your vision.